Hi, we're over at the bench after we pulled the pumps out, and there's a couple of special tools that will make the job a lot easier, especially if you're a shop. You can invest in one of these from Zoro.com. This is a little spanner. It's got interchangeable end pieces, and it'll come in for handy for a lot of jobs. This is the one I would recommend for holding the sprockets while you tighten them. The other thing you can use is something like this. This is from Motion Pro. It's originally for tightening up clutch hubs on motorcycles, but it's got these pins back here, and they do a great job of holding sprockets too. The low-tech way is two pieces of wood stuck in a vise, clamping on the sprocket. That's alright, it'll work for you guys that are doing it in your own garage. Also, you can use soft jaws, which we're going to show you a little later, in a vise that'll grab the sprocket. Since the sprockets are 8620 hard material, it won't hurt them to bury them into the aluminum jaws a little bit and crank up the nut and tighten them up. So right now, let's go and disassemble these sprockets. Okay, we've already got the pumps out of the motor, and we've already loosened the nuts up in the motor as we showed before. Now we're just going to remove the nuts. Don't mix the nuts up. Keep them with their prospective pump. Sprockets, not a big deal. Sometimes they're a little hard to get off, and sometimes they come off fairly easy. Like that one slid right off. Set those aside. So we want to clean the threads, and we're going to do that with some brake cleaner or some Zep cleaner, whatever you guys call it. So we're going to hit it with that, and then we're going to hit it with some air. Make sure that's clean. Same with this one. We're going to make sure the threads are nice and clean. Now we're going to do the nuts. Alright, now we're going to get our new sprockets out of our box. And the box has some instructions on inside the box that'll give you a reminder to do the proper torquing on the nuts, on the shafts. And like I said before, you can't mix up the sprockets. They're different splines. Fine spline, 4 spline, and if when you're putting the sprockets on they're a little snug going on, you can use a socket and you can give it a little tap to drive them down far enough. Okay, now Loctite. The best Loctite I think to use is the 277 Loctite because it works at it's a high strength and it works in oil. You probably could get away with the other ones. Leroy, what's the other red one?
271.
271 you'd probably be okay with, but we prefer to use this. So we're going to do this thing on. Is it on?
There you go.
Myself, I like to put a little on the threads on the inside. Believe me, that's really all you need. And a little on the male thread. We're going to take that down, snug it up. Okay, now I'm going to show you 2 different ways of tightening these things up, and the first one's going to be to use the Facom tool. We're going to go ahead and adjust it to fit into the tooling holes, and then we're going to have our torque wrench, which we preset for 25 Newton meters, and we're going to go ahead and turn that on. Okay, it's all zeroed. It's set for on.
There you go.
That doesn't feel like a lot, but that's the BMW spec. You can look it up in the BMW pages. And we're going to change the socket to the 15. Now this pump, we're going to go ahead and put it in the vise with the aluminum soft jaws for you guys that are only going to do one car, one engine. As I said before, shops probably don't want to do it this way. Probably want to go ahead and purchase the right tool. Okay, we're going to recalibrate our torque wrench. All looks good. We're going to use a 15 millimeter socket. We're going to check we're going the right way because we're going to work upside down. And that's it. As you can see, that wasn't a whole lot of torque. So you don't have to crank hard on the vise. Okay, now that we've got both sprockets installed, we're going to go over for the next step is the installation step, and we're going to go ahead and clean up the block, and we're going to make sure we clean the mating gear teeth to this gear. And the reason we got to do that is because we have to measure the backlash in this gear to the crankshaft gear so that it's the proper 2/1000ths of an inch that BMW wants for oil room. So right now, with the oil that's on the crankshaft gear, we can't measure that backlash because the oil is taking up the space. We're measuring the oil space. So we got to go clean it off, and this one's already cleaned, and we're going to go ahead and show the installation next.